Welcome to Cedar Club, Quincy's favorite local bar. A friendly corner bar with a laid-back atmosphere and affordable drinks. It's the perfect spot for a great time. With entertainment galore, including shuffleboard, golden tee, pool, foosball, and winning gaming machines. Cedar Club's latest edition is the best spot to catch your favorite game. Great drinks, great friends, and great times. Cedar Club, 20th and Cedar in Quincy. Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Today I get to sit down and speak with Peggy Burchard Ballard. How are you, Peggy?
I'm good.
Good. So Peggy, you are an independent artist. You have a studio here in Quincy, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And when I was looking at, because on our board it says watercolor, right?
Yes.
Not a whole lot more. So I'm like, all right, let me see what I can find out here. I found out something really, really cool, and I'm not sure that I've ever heard anyone do this before, and that is you make your own watercolor.
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
All right. So we'll get to more about that in just a second, but let's go back to kind of the roots of art and how you kind of, what's the why behind it, right? What kind of led you to making your own watercolor?
Well, I've made paint in the past. I taught at QU, and I wanted my students to understand Renaissance manuscripts that were created during that time period.
Okay.
And they're created with a particular type of paint made with egg yolks and dry pigment. So I would bring in the pigments and the eggs, and we would spend one class period doing nothing but making paint and painting. And in the past, I've always known how to make paint, and I thought this Christmas it would be fun to make some watercolor journals and include some paint along with them and a paintbrush.
Okay.
And that sort of, you have to start that way in advance, making books and so on.
Sure.
And so that led to a divergence. And once I made some watercolor paint, it was like, well, this is really fun. And I thought, well, I've got all these pigments, I'll try some more.
Yeah.
And now I have a studio full of pigments.
Yes.
And I, have made a couple hundred or more pans of watercolor.
Interesting. So now Studio 433 is paying homage to your location. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's a really cool name, actually. I mean, it's pretty hip. It's like the now. Yeah, I love it. The watercolor, to me, I've had different experiences with different mediums of art. Watercolor has always been, it's interesting to me that it's a kid's art form because it's very hard.
Yes.
To me, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems
No.
like, okay.
I think it's one of the most difficult forms of painting that you can become involved in. I mean, I started watercolor painting when I was about 7, but dropped it probably pretty quickly. I went back to it back and forth, but I mean, I would not rate it as my favorite medium. It's very unforgiving.
Yes.
And it can be very difficult.
Very stressful to me. I mean, I'm watching my kids do it, and they have it's books, but then they have the little paint set, and they're trying to get the paint even, and I don't know if it's human nature to want to get,
everything perfect.
Everything kind of consistent, and watercolor makes that very, very difficult. However, I think once you grow with it and you kind of learn how to use it beneficially in expression, I guess, when you're trying, when you know what you want to paint and you can use it in a way that suits what you're trying to paint, then it does become probably one of the better, if even one of the more difficult ways to do so.
My preference is for gouache, which is basically an opaque watercolor.
Okay.
So it's a little different in process, and hopefully I'll be able to start making some gouache. I mean, that's my goal, is to reach that. But first I need to build my watercolor sup.
Yeah.
My watercolor, and decide what I want to maintain as far as colors and what's
Sure.
in the palettes that I offer.
Right.
And then move into gouache. Gouache I've always worked with. It's a very nice medium. It's a little more forgiving than watercolor. Maybe that's my perception, but
Yeah, I'd have to try it to know. I've never heard of gouache. I'm sorry if that's embarrassing. But
no, a lot of people have
Okay,
it.
okay.
It's just it has a chalk base, and so it tends to be it's opaque, unlike watercolor that's translucent.
Sure. So Having said that, watercolor is difficult to paint with, in my opinion. How difficult is it to make?
It some pigments can be difficult.
Okay.
And other pigments can be very simple.
Okay. And when you're saying pigments, you're talking just colors, right? Something that
I'm talking
creates.
about the actual dry ground pigment.
Okay.
So it's a powder form.
Okay.
And it can come in different consistencies. And so the finer it is, the easier it is to work with. But that doesn't mean it's easy to make a watercolor from it. It just means it's more adaptable to taking the binder that you mix with it. And some watercolor, it's a real easy, 1 part watercolor, 1 part binder. You mix them, you mull them, what's called mulling.
Okay.
And the mulling, for some colors like aquamarine blue, that can take maybe a half an hour mull and you're done with it.
Okay.
But there are other colors, some of the yellows can be extremely difficult because it's not just a 1-to-1. And then you've got to figure out what is that
What's that
balance
ratio?
between
Yeah.
them to make it work so that the watercolor does not rub off of your page.
Gotcha.
And so it may take more binders. So some of my yellows, they're pain to work with.
Yeah.
And then there's also some of the greens. I work with many of my paints are inorganic, so they're things like your ochres, your natural ochres that you see in the world.
Yeah.
And they can be very difficult when it comes to mulling them, and they can take 2-3 hours to mull.
Now, are you mulling manually?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have a machine. No, I just have arms.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'd have to feel your muscles here because I feel like
no
I'm
muscles.
thinking about even like stirring a dish for a half an hour.
There's not a tremendous. It's not about pressure.
Okay. You're just mixing.
It's about blending the pigment with the binder and having the two join.
Sure.
So with some pigments, that's a very easy process. Other ones, they will repel the binder, and so you really have to work it to get that binder to mix in, to attach to the pigment, the dry pigment,
Gotcha.
so that when you pour it in that pan and let it dry, the person who uses it is going to be able to actually use it.
Yeah. So, okay, it sounds like the process is in depth, but what is, I don't want to sound crass, but what is the point of making it yourself? What's kind of the differentiator as opposed to going to a store?
I can control the amount of pigment.
Okay.
So my colors are very intense as far as pigment goes.
Okay.
I don't include a lot of watercolors, especially your student watercolors, will include fillers. Usually like a cellulose base.
Okay.
Like basically your wallpaper
Sure.
paste is what is commonly used. And so the intensity of the color is not as great. So with your handmade watercolors, they're going to be a heavy pigment load. That doesn't mean you can't go to the store and buy the same heavy pigment load handmade watercolor from a company like Gallo,
Okay.
which you can. And they're good paints, but they are machine made.
Sure.
They don't have a bunch of people there grinding them by
They don't have that
hand.
human love.
And so because they're producing for a mass market.
Sure.
I'm not producing for a mass market. I'm producing for the community.
Right. Which I love. Yeah, which is a huge differentiator. And yeah, when you're taking the time and pouring your passion quite literally into these pans, making sure that you're providing the best product, that's huge. You don't really get that with
Yeah, and
big box stores
each
or-
pan takes anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks just to be processed.
Oh, wow.
So you can't just fill the pan up the first time. You have to fill it in layers. Otherwise, you can end up with air pockets. And I don't want somebody to, buy paint from me
Sure.
and be in the middle of painting and all of a sudden have a huge hole in the
Yes.
that there's no paint in. I mean, you feel like, well, why did I pay for this?
Right.
If I'm not getting the full pan of paint.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to avoid those air pockets, and the only way to do that is to put your paint in layers, and
Yeah.
then you have to let that layer dry, and then you put the next layer in, let that dry, let another layer, and so on. So it takes about 4 layers and takes up to about 4 weeks,
Wow.
3 to 4 weeks.
Well, I think it's very, very cool that you're doing this. I know that, you're not just doing it for your health. You are selling these, right? So people
Yes,
can
I am.
experience your hard work. And it is through Studio 433, which is where?
433 is above Washington Theater.
Okay.
It does not have public access.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to buy directly from me, they would have to contact me.
Okay.
Other than that, they can find them at the Alliance Art Gallery in Hannibal,
Gotcha.
which is where I show my work, and I also sell my watercolors.
Okay. So they can go to Alliance Art Gallery, you said?
Alliance Art Gallery
Okay.
in Hannibal. It's
And-
on their main drag there with all the galleries and the shops and so on.
Very cool area.
And that's where I keep majority of my stock is going to be at that gallery.
Okay. And then do you have a Facebook page or anything where people can follow you and see what you're up to?
I have Instagram, I have Facebook,
Okay.
I have a website,
Okay.
and all of it is under, my website is PL Burchard Ballard, and, or actually it's PLB Ballard at .com, and then I'm on Facebook as Peggy Burchard Ballard. I'm on Instagram as PL Burchard Ballard. So
Okay.
I'm sure if you just look up Burchard Ballard, there aren't too many combinations
Right.
of that.
Yeah. And
anywhere.
if you throw in watercolor, people, yeah, you just
And
get one.
You can just Google, if you Google my name,
Yeah.
all of those will pop up.
Yeah, that's how I found you. Very, very easy to find Peggy here and her beautiful watercolors. I'm telling you, just to go check out the pictures. I mean, they are really, it's very, very cool. So I appreciate what you're doing. I think it's something really neat to bring to our community. If you are into art or if you just want to check it out, go to the Alliance Art Gallery in Hannibal or look up Peggy online, the website, right? Peggy B. No.
My watercolors do not show up on my website yet,
Okay.
mainly because I'm busy making them.
Gotcha,
And I
gotcha,
haven't
gotcha.
gotten them on the website
Okay.
yet.
All right.
But you will find plenty on Facebook with the Alliance Gallery
Yeah.
of the images, and then several people have tagged me that have purchased them, so you'll see them there. But I sell them in sets, and I sell them as individual pans. So.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, I love it. Anything else you want us to know about them?
Hopefully, I will. Right now, I only have one set of watercolor pans. There's a set of 6 that I sell at the Alliance Gallery, and they're called the Earth Pigments, and they're just based on a lot of the ochres. But I'm hoping to expand those in the next several weeks. It's a matter of watching paint dry.
Yes.
And to include about 10 different varieties of that 6-pan mix that they can purchase. So they can purchase a whole set, or they can purchase individual colors.
Love it. Growing and expanding. Well, good luck with everything. I have no doubt you're going to help some people make some beautiful art.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, I sit down with Drew Quintero of Cornerstone to talk about dancing with the local stars. Stay tuned.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be. Before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Welcome out to Kelly's on Broadway tonight. We're drinking cold beer and it feels so right. I'll meet you out on Broadway underneath Shamrock Light. We're gonna have a good time on the patio tonight. There's a party down at Kelly's on Broadway tonight. We're drinking cold beer on a champagne night. We're feeling all alone and you got no place to go. So come down here and drink a beer on Kelly's patio. Kelly's a fun place to eat and drink. 2902 Broadway.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
And welcome back. Now joining me, my pal Drew Quintero with Cornerstone. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Ashley. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So one of the coolest events in our community is coming up, Dancing with the Local Stars.
That is right. It's not only the coolest because it usually takes place on the coldest day of the year,
yes.
But it is our 15th anniversary year of Dancing with Local Stars, and this year we're going to the movies.
Yeah, going to the movies, baby. Okay, so that is the theme.
That is correct.
That every dance is
going to be a song you've heard in a film.
Okay.
So, Ghostbusters, Footloose, some movie musical, Chicago's being represented. We have a great group of 10 couples. 10 teams dancing their hearts out, and it's going to be a night to shout hooray for Hollywood and Cornerstone.
Yes, I love it. And I was I took a glimpse at the names of these teams. There's some outstanding groups up here.
Listen,
I mean, it's gonna be incredible.
Blake Shearer, Katisha Hodges, Jonathan Hoover, Britta Carper, Curtis and Laura Cephaler, Makia Gay, Maurice Silas, Tom and Shantae Freeze, Megan Sohn and Jim Sohn, Dennis Ibbotson, Maddie Ibbotson, Ashley Burnett and Megan Dusterhouse, Melissa Wayland, Michael D. Perkins, and Adam Yates and Sam McKelvey. I mean, these teams it is stacked. I think this might be one of the most competitive group of teams we've had as well, and they are ready to bring it.
It's going to be awesome. So now these teams, they are coached by local dance studios. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
Local dance instructors and some freelance dance instructors as well. Volunteer their time and their talent. They meet with these teams, and they take people who don't know left foot from right foot and have them on that stage doing pirouettes, flips, lifts. It's phenomenal.
It really is. I mean, and to the teams that are signing up for this. So I've been approached before. I really do want to do it eventually. It's just this time of year is really difficult.
It is hard.
It is. Yeah. So, but then I think of myself as that person who doesn't know left foot from right foot, right? But then I would get up there if I'm like the others that I've seen and really just bring the talent.
That's right.
That would be my hope.
And that's what I always tell. We have some teams this year who are like, and I'm like,
yes,
it is all about the stage presence.
Yeah.
You get out there and have the time of your life. Another movie reference.
Yeah.
People are just going to love you. Yeah. And everyone in that room knows that this is so far out of most of these people's comfort zones that they are there to cheer you on. And even if all you do is a little line dance, boot scoot and boogie back and forth with some touch and claps, the crowd goes wild every time.
Yes, because everybody knows that they're there, of course, not just for a great show, but for a great cause.
That is correct,
And so the evening starts with like a happy hour to get people kind of primed. Is that
Social
right?
Social hour from 6 to 7, and then we welcome you. We give you a little information on Cornerstone, who we are and what we do in the community. And then we honor a humanitarian of the year.
Yes.
And then it is dinner and then showtime.
And this year, the humanitarian, it's an organization.
It is an organization this year. It is Covered Bottoms Diaper Bank, which began in 2020. And provides diapers and a few other necessity items to families in the area when they might need a little extra help.
Yeah. I love their mission. It's very, very cool. And anyone who knows, who's had kids or who knows anybody who's had kids, diapers for one are just, it's a crazy expense and not always covered by any support that you're given.
That's correct,
and it should be, one of those kind of human rights.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you do have to have your bottoms covered, especially.
You do.
Right?
Yes.
And in more ways than one,
Yeah.
because everything's expensive anymore, especially when you have kids. And if you don't have the support that you need from, say, family and friends, Covered Bottoms is there to help. So I think this is a perfect organization.
It's a great group that also partners with other organizations in the town to provide these services to their clients.
Right.
And so it is just I love to say, they are helping the world one covered bottom at a time.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah.
I love it. So, of course, a great cause because all of the money goes back to it, or some of it, a portion?
All money goes back to Cornerstone that is raised that night. So through the fundraising that the teams do for their People's Choice game, so we award our overall dancing winners, which is voted on by our 3 judges as well as the audience. So there is audience participation.
Yeah.
So you can come and make your vote heard. And then so that money goes back, and then ticket money and things like that. All money raised stays with Cornerstone to allow us to keep providing the skills, support, and hope to those who might need a little extra help throughout their life.
Love it. And does Cornerstone, you serve just the local community?
We serve the Adams County community.
Okay.
Yep. And then we do have some programs that serve a little further out.
Gotcha.
But our 3 nonprofits serve a variety of groups, and then we also provide therapy. That insurance, you can pay for that. And we also have a program that if you might have a high deductible insurance or no insurance but are needing some additional help, to get through some times, we have a program that allows you to pay anywhere from $20 to $60 for that therapy, which is a great collaboration between the United Way of Adams County and now the Tracy Family Foundation has kicked in some too. So yeah,
love it. So great cause, benefiting yet another great cause with a great mission.
Absolutely.
It's just one, it's a win-win. You go, you have fun, support some great cause, some great organizations. You get a nice dinner. You have fun with family and friends. Support your community. It's just an all around. It's a great event. And when is this event?
The event is Friday, February 7th, so we're just a little less than a month away.
Yeah.
The doors open at 6 o'clock for our social hour, and then dinner, dancing, all the fun stuff starts around 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay,
Yes.
and people can still get tickets, I hope?
Tickets are still available.
Okay.
You can visit our website at cornerstone-quincy.org, or you can give us a call at 217-222-8254.
Okay, and you still have sponsorships available?
We still have some sponsorships available, so
Okay.
if there are any organizations who want to lend in an extra helping hand,
Yes.
we are there. We'll get all of your information in our program.
Okay.
You get to have a wonderful time, get a little closer seats, get right up there in the dancing action.
Ooh, you get like VIP section,
VIP
huh?
section.
Heck yeah.
So-
And then you still have tables available.
and we still have tables available,
Okay.
and those tickets are $100
Okay.
per seat, tables up to 8 people.
Okay.
And that can all be purchased on our website or by calling in. Visit us on Facebook or Instagram. We're doing some fun throwbacks right now of last year's teams, and we'll start releasing photos of this year's teams and ways to donate to their People's Choice and just be a part of the event.
Yes, love it. So Dancing with the Local Stars is going to the movies, and you definitely don't want to miss it. It sounds like not only do you have some great teams, the music is sure to be incredible.
Absolutely.
For an awesome cause, and of course to show up for your community. Quincy does that
That's
really,
right.
really
We
well.
do. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
So let's surpass all these goals that we have. Support Cornerstone, support Covered Bottoms, and just get out there and have some fun. February 7th. Get your tickets now.
Yeah.
One more time where they can get those.
Our website is cornerstone-quincy.org, or our phone number is 217-222-8254.
Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank
Always
you,
a pleasure
Ashley.
to see you, and good
too.
luck. Hopefully I'll see you February 7th.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so
Thanks.
much. All right. I think that does it for today's Daily Muddy. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for Coffee Talk.